Oh, look, it's the hand-me-down kid. The bus rolls by as the boys laugh, eyes filled with superiority. Luke stands there, trying to shrink into the background, his worn backpack a target for their mockery. Luke's shoulders slump, but he doesn't speak. The weight of their judgment is heavier than any backpack. As the laughter fades, I watch him, the hurt written across his face, knowing there's nothing I can do to protect him from this. He turns slowly, looking away, and we begin walking toward the car, the sound of their taunts still ringing in the air. The moving truck pulls away from our old apartment, leaving just Luke and me in front of what everyone calls the fish hut. It's not really a hut. It's a small cabin by the water, gray and weathered, peeling paint. But surrounded by the towering McMansions of Lakewood Estates, it might as well be a cardboard box. "Mom," Luke whispers, eyes on the McMansions looming over us. "Are you sure we should move here?" I squeeze his shoulder. 12 years old, already worrying about fitting in, already sensing what's coming. "Grandpa left this to us, baby. It's ours." I don't tell him it's all we have left. The medical bills from Dad's last month's drained us. Our savings, my car, even my engagement ring, all gone. This cabin by the water? It's the only thing the lawyers couldn't touch. But Luke doesn't need to know that yet. A black luxury car rolls by, slowing just enough for the driver to size us up. Through the tinted windows, I catch a flash of perfectly styled blonde highlights and oversized sunglasses. They're already judging us, and they haven't even met us yet. Quick favor before we move on. Over 90% of people watching right now haven't subscribed yet. If you're enjoying this story, tap that like button and hit subscribe. It's completely free, and it helps this channel reach more amazing listeners like you. Already subscribed? You're the best. Thank you so much. Now, let's get back to it. Monday comes too fast. I walk Luke to the bus stop. We're both wearing our best clothes from the discount store. His backpack, patched with clear tape where it's torn, feels like an anchor. He doesn't acknowledge the stares from the other kids. The moms at the bus stop look like they stepped off a magazine cover. Designer workout clothes, freshly highlighted hair, sneakers that probably cost more than my monthly salary. "You must be, the new family," says a woman with long, wavy hair and lips so full they might pop. Her voice drips with superiority. "I'm Stella Morrison. We live in the big house with the guest house." She gestures to a sprawling white mansion like it's a monument to herself. "I'm Isabella," I reply. "And this is Luke. We just moved into the cabin in the marshland." Stella eyes us like she's scanning for flaws. My cheap sweater, Luke's hand-me-down sneakers, the way we both shift nervously. Her perfectly sculpted eyebrows lift with barely contained disdain. "Oh, now, that makes sense," she says slowly, like she's explaining something to a child. "I was wondering how you could afford, never mind." The other mothers giggle behind their hands, following Stella's lead like good little minions. "And where exactly did you relocate from?" Stella asks, tilting her head in mock concern. The question lands like an interrogation. "Downtown," I answer, keeping it simple. The silence stretches, thick with judgment. Stella's smile sharpens like shards of glass. "Oh my," she purrs, voice dripping with fake sympathy. "That must have been quite the adjustment. Moving up in the world, are we?" She shares a knowing glance with the others. "Well, good luck. I hope you can keep up with the demands of the standards life out here." Luke's face flushes. He knows what keep up means. It means we don't belong here. And Stella's going to make sure we never forget it. By Wednesday, it's clear. At recess, I park and walk to the fence, spotting Luke standing alone in the corner. His lunch still in his hand. The boys pass by, one shoving him. They hold their noses, disgusted, then walk off without a second glance. Luke doesn't move. He just stands there, looking down. The girls giggle, looking at him like he's a joke. His face turns red. He grips his lunch like it's all he has left. But what really breaks me is what happens after school. Thursday night, I'm in the kitchen, opening our third pack of ramen this week. Paycheck doesn't come until tomorrow. We're down to loose change and hope. The water boils as I crack the last egg into the pot. Luke sits at the table, doing his homework, not looking at me as I ration our dinner. I pull the egg out, split it with a knife. I give Luke the bigger half. "Mom, you should eat more," he says, his voice barely a whisper, like he's trying not to say it. "I'm not that hungry, baby," I lie. My stomach's been growling for an hour, but I can't stand hearing his growl. He takes a small bite, chews slowly. "Tyler Morrison said something today." My fork freezes. "What did he say?" "He said I look like I shop at the thrift store." His voice cracks. "He said poor kids shouldn't try to hang out with normal kids, that we smell like desperation." Tyler Morrison. Stella's mini-me. The anger starts small, but it spreads fast. "And Leah's mom is throwing a pool party this weekend. She invited everyone except me." Luke stares at his ramen. "She said the pool might get contaminated by people like us." Contaminated. Like poverty is something you can catch. He pushes his food around with his fork. "Mom, when you get your paycheck tomorrow, do you think maybe I could get some new clothes? Just one shirt that doesn't have holes?" My heart cracks wide open. This 12-year-old boy, asking for a shirt like it's some kind of luxury. The flame in my chest burns hotter, fiercer. Friday afternoon at school pickup, Stella's in full swing, as usual. She's got her crowd of followers gathered around, laughing too loud, acting like they're planning something major. Her voice cuts through the air like she's hosting a reality show. "The fundraiser is going to be divine," she announces, flipping her hair like it's the most important thing in the world. "We're raising money for the new AI technology wing. A proper computer lab, state-of-the-art equipment. Only the most committed families, of course." I slow my steps near the entrance, pretending to check my phone. It's impossible not to hear the sickly sweet tone in her voice, like she's the queen of her own little world. Every word laced with superiority. "We simply cannot allow just anyone to contribute," she continues, her voice smooth but sharp as a knife. "This technology wing requires serious donors. We have a responsibility to ensure only families with real commitment participate." She pauses, scanning the crowd, eyes landing on me for a split second. "What about the family in that little fishing shack?" someone asks, their voice unsure, like they're testing the waters. Stella's laugh rings out, cruel and mocking. "Oh, sweetie, they couldn't afford to donate if they sold everything they owned." Which, let's be honest, wouldn't amount to much. She lowers her voice just loud enough for me to hear. "Some people need to learn to stay in their lane." The women around her murmur in agreement, their laughter sharp and cutting. "I'm hosting the entire event at my brand new guest house," Stella announces, gesturing to her latest trophy. "It's the perfect opportunity to show off the extension we just finished. We spent an absolute fortune on it. Richard nearly had a heart attack over the cost, but I explained that we need the right space to entertain people of our caliber." She pauses, a venomous smile creeping across her face. "Not like certain people who eat instant noodles in fish shacks and pretend they belong in civilized society." The group bursts into delighted laughter, each chuckle a knife twisting in my gut. Friday after school, Luke goes straight to his room. Friday evening, I see him sitting at his desk, his head down, the pencil in his hand shaking as it scrapes across the paper. He's not writing, he's digging, scribbling harder and harder, like he's trying to erase something. I don't say anything, just watch as his grip tightens, the sound of the pencil breaking the only sound in the room. I close my eyes, the weight of the past weeks crashing over me. Every sneer from Stella. Every time Luke came home smaller than before. Every night I went to bed hungry so he could eat. This isn't just about money anymore. This is about my son, his spirit, his dignity, being crushed by people who think cruelty is their birthright. That night, as I walk past Luke's room, I catch a glimpse of him through the cracked door. He's sitting on the floor, his clothes scattered around him. He holds up a shirt, pressing it to his nose, sniffing it like he's trying to make sure it doesn't smell like what they think of him. He lays it down slowly, smoothing the wrinkles out, staring at it, trying to figure out if it's good enough to wear in front of the other kids. My chest tightens, and it feels like my heart's breaking all over again. But I don't want to make him feel worse. I don't want to humiliate him even more. So I walk away, heading to Grandpa's old desk. Anything to distract myself from what I just saw. I'm cleaning out Grandpa's old desk, searching for anything, insurance papers, savings accounts, something, anything, that could help. But instead, I find a manila envelope jammed behind the bottom drawer. Inside is a deed. Yellowed with age, but still official. My hands shake as I read the property description. The fish hut, and everything around it. 847 lots of prime waterfront property, including the land where Stella's guest house sits. I read it 3 times before it hits me. Grandpa didn't just leave us a cabin. He left us an empire. Monday morning, I call Mr. Dunley at the county assessor's office. Ma'am, according to our records, your grandfather's estate includes the original homestead plus all adjacent waterfront parcels acquired between 1952 and 1987. My heart races. What about the houses around us? He pauses. Those are on leased land, ma'am. 99-year leases that expire in 2051. But any structures built without proper permits, they're violations. Violations? Demolition orders, ma'am. Immediate removal required. I freeze. Stella's guest house, her pride and joy, built on my land, without permits. I stare out the window at the house where my son was called contamination, where a woman decided we were nothing. The weight of what I'm about to do presses down on me. Is this who I want to be? Someone who uses power to hurt others? Then I remember Luke's quiet request for just one shirt without holes. I remember the rocks. Tyler laughing. This isn't revenge. It's justice. Mr. Dunley, I say, my voice steady, what do I need to do to enforce property rights? Just say the word, ma'am. We can have a team out there tomorrow. Tomorrow. I think about Stella planning her next humiliation. Do it. Saturday afternoon, Stella's fundraiser is in full swing. Her guest house is lit up with sparkling white lights, champagne flowing like it's water, and women in designer dresses pose for Instagram, flashing perfect smiles. Meanwhile, their husbands huddle together, speaking in hushed, self-important tones about stock portfolios and real estate. Stella moves through the crowd, like the queen of her own kingdom. She air kisses cheeks, accepting compliments with that fake, rehearsed humility. Oh, you're too kind. The decorator insisted on Italian marble, but I said, we simply must have the best for our community events. But here's the thing. I notice something she doesn't. When she walks away from each group, the conversations stop. A silence hangs in the air. Awkward glances pass between people. Jennifer leans in to whisper something to Margaret, who immediately looks uncomfortable, shifting on her feet. Even in her own crowd, that polished confidence Stella exudes is starting to crack. Margaret catches herself mid-laugh at one of Stella's cruel jokes, her smile faltering just for a second. She glances toward our fish hut, barely visible through the trees, and something shifts in her eyes. Guilt? Doubt? For the first time, I see her question herself. She quickly covers it up, masking it with another forced smile. Did you see that pathetic family didn't even bother to attend? Stella announces loudly, her voice dripping with venom near the donation table. I suppose they know their place after all. Jennifer looks down at her champagne glass, avoiding eye contact. Stella, maybe we should focus on the fundraiser. But Stella doesn't stop. She's addicted to the sound of her own superiority, the way people hang on her words like they're gospel. I mean, really, some people just don't understand community standards, she continues, oblivious to the cooling reception around her. A few women exchange glances, guilt, hesitation, maybe even shame, starting to seep in. And then it happens. The sound of rumbling engines fills the air. 5 massive demolition trucks roll down pristine Lakewood Drive, their engines shaking the ground like mechanical thunder. Yellow hard hats and orange vests pour out, carrying clipboards and official documents. They move with purpose, completely at odds with the polished image Stella's been so desperately projecting. The fundraiser screeches to a halt. Conversations die. The guests shift uncomfortably, unsure of what's happening, as the trucks stop right outside Stella's guest house. For a moment, everything stands still. The spell is breaking, and there's nothing Stella can do to stop it. What in the world? Someone gasps. Are those demolition trucks? Margaret whispers, glancing nervously toward the approaching vehicles. Stella's composed mask slips for just a moment, but she quickly snaps it back into place with a tight smile. Her arms cross over her chest as she straightens up. Forced confidence radiating from her, though it's shaky. "Excuse me," a crew chief announces, his voice slicing through the shocked silence like a blade. "We're looking for Stella Morrison. We have a demolition order for the structure." The crowd goes completely still. Phones rise into the air, capturing the drama unfolding in real time. "This is impossible," Jennifer breathes, her voice barely a whisper. "Oh my God," someone murmurs, "this is really happening." "Is someone filming this?" Margaret asks, her voice trembling now. People instinctively step back, avoiding the chaos like it's contagious, like if they get too close, they'll be tainted by it. Stella appears on the guest house porch, her face as pale as her designer dress. She's trying to hold on to some semblance of control, but it's slipping. "I'm Mrs. Morrison," she says, her voice shaking but still trying to sound authoritative. "There must be some mistake. This is private property. We're hosting a charity event for very important people." She says it like the crew should care, like her social status can stop bulldozers from tearing down her world. "Bam, this structure was built without permits on land belonging to Isabella Henderson. We need everyone to evacuate immediately." The crowd erupts in whispers. "Isabella Henderson? The woman from the fish hut? This can't be real. Are you filming this?" "I feel sick," someone murmurs, guilt creeping in. "We've been so awful to her." Stella stands frozen, panic creeping into her eyes. Her mind races, desperately trying to pull control back. She grasps at anything. "That's impossible," she shouts, her voice cracking. "We own this land. I've been paying taxes. I know how these things work." But even as she says it, doubt seeps in. Richard handled the paperwork. She'd been too busy planning the perfect reveal, too busy living in the spotlight to care about the details. The cracks in her perfect facade are wide open, and she can't hide the panic anymore. "No, ma'am. You've been paying lease fees that expired last month. The landowner has decided not to renew." Richard Morrison pushes through the crowd, his face purple with rage. His breath is heavy with humiliation, every step a confirmation of the unraveling of everything they thought they controlled. "What the hell is going on here, Stella?" Richard's voice echoes through the crowd, his frustration palpable. "You said you handled all the permits. You said you knew what you were doing." The crowd stares, a mix of horror, fascination, and dawning guilt twisting in the air. The same people who'd been laughing just moments before now avert their eyes, uncomfortable. They realize, maybe for the first time, just how complicit they've been in Stella's cruelty. "I can't believe this is happening," someone murmurs, the shock and regret in their voice clear. "We're all going to be on social media," another whispers, panic rising in her tone. Stella's voice rises, sharp and desperate. "This is all a misunderstanding. We're pillars of this community. We were just trying to maintain standards. She grasps at anything, any excuse. The words sound hollow even to her own ears. That family doesn't belong here, she screams. Her voice cracks under the weight of her lies, and she knows it. But the crowd isn't buying it anymore. You thought what? Richard's voice rips through the tension. You spent $700,000 on a guest house without checking if we could legally build it? Are you completely insane? The words land with a sickening thud. The crowd watches in stunned silence. The reality of what's happening sinks in. Stella's world is crumbling before her eyes, and the cracks are widening by the second. Margaret Foster turns to Jennifer Walsh, her face pale with guilt. We were horrible to that family, all of us. How could we not see this coming? And now we're being humiliated in front of the entire club because you were too arrogant to file proper paperwork. Margaret's voice shakes, the realization settling in. Because you had to show off and play Queen Bee? Richard, please, Stella begs, her desperation now fully visible. Not in front of everyone, but it's too late. The spell is broken. The Queen has no clothes, and her former subjects are starting to remember their own humanity. Stella's perfect makeup runs down her cheeks as the demolition crew begins unloading their equipment. Ma'am, we need you to remove all personal items. Demolition begins in 1 hour. I step out from behind the crowd. Every head turns. Every conversation stops. Hello, Stella. Her eyes widen. You did this! I enforced my property rights, same as you would. The crowd buzzes, confusion mixing with realization. These people thought I was nothing. A charity case, an eyesore in their precious neighborhood. Your grandfather's fishing shack doesn't make you a landowner? Stella snarls, but her voice shakes. I pull out the deed, holding it high enough for everyone to see. Actually, it makes me the owner of everything from the water line to Maple Creek. 847 acres of prime lakefront property. The silence is deafening, including the land your guest house sits on, and your main house, and the private beach you've been calling yours. Jaws drop. Phones capture everything. The air crackles with disbelief as the pieces fall into place. Richard Morrison looks like he's about to have a stroke. You knew, he screams at Stella. You knew we were building on someone else's land? I thought she was nobody, Stella wails, the desperation thick in her voice. She lives in that disgusting little shack. Actually, I say calmly, that disgusting little shack sits on the most valuable waterfront property in 3 counties. The crew chief steps forward with his clipboard. Ma'am, we're ready to begin. Should we proceed? I look at Stella, at her designer dress, her tears, her humiliation, at Richard, red-faced and screaming about lawyers, at the crowd, all recording this monumental disaster. Proceed. The guest house is gone in under 2 hours. By evening, there's only a concrete pad and a pile of debris where it stood. Stella and Richard's marriage implodes. By Tuesday, he files for divorce, citing reckless financial decisions and chronic attention-seeking behavior. The country club drops her membership. The other families stop taking her calls. She becomes exactly what she tried to make us. Nobody. 2 weeks later, I meet with commercial real estate developers. I sell 3 parcels to a luxury hotel chain. The check? 7 figures. Monday, I walk into Cedar Falls Middle School, a check for $1 million in hand. For the AI technology wing, I say quietly, I'd like it named the Luke Henderson Learning Center. The school is buzzing. Word spreads like wildfire. By afternoon pickup, every parent knows about the anonymous $1 million donation from the family in the fish hut. Stella arrives late, looking haggard. Divorce proceedings don't leave much time for appearances. Isabella, she says cautiously, like I might bite. I heard about your donation. Did you? How nice. $1 million? she whispers, Zrenya, her voice cracking. My fundraiser only raised 15,000 before. Well, I say, mimicking her tone. Some people understand their place in the community. She flinches like I've slapped her. And some people know how to contribute meaningfully instead of just showing off. Luke bounds out of school, grinning ear to ear. Mom, did you hear? They're naming the new computer lab after me. The Luke Henderson Learning Center. I ruffle his hair. I might have heard something about that. He grins wide. We belong here, don't we? I squeeze his shoulder. Yes, baby, we do. The lake reflects the sunset, and for the first time since we moved here, it feels like home.